Bon dia a tothom.
Hello and good morning. Welcome to the University of Barcelona. This room is likely the most suitable one for the topic we're dealing with today. This room was not in the original planning of the building. It was added during the 40s, during the first years of the Franco dictatorship in a project to Christianize the UB. The pictures belong to the National Service of Art Property, a service which would take art pieces and were delegated afterwards to institutions like ours. We are now in the process of preparing an exhibition with confiscated artworks from that period. My Vice-Chancellery is called Vice-Chancellery for Culture and Heritage. We have included memory as a central element of this Vice-Rectorate. And this has a certain meaning. If you allow, let me inform you that back in 1939, half of the faculty had to abandon the university, half were exiled, the other half were victims of repression in different forms, and at the beginning of the 40s, the anti-Franco students' movement was born here, which was central in the next years. So we believe that it is relevant for us to claim, to somehow honor and commend this democratic memory. This Friday, we're going to be paying a tribute, a homage to Pericay, who was the rector of the University of Barcelona back in 1933 to 1939. Then he was exiled. He stayed in Mexico in exile, where he was a lecturer at UNAM. He also had a position at UNESCO, and he died in exile in 1974. I should say that Pericay, beyond being the rector of this university, was the chancellor of justice in the Companys government in 1937. So again, our bond with democratic memory and with the anti-fascist movement is made very clear. In any case, we're extremely pleased to host this conference, the International Rememchild Conference, Childhood and Women in War Memories. So I would like to give the floor to Dr. Celeste Muñoz Martínez, the Scientific Secretary of the conference. Madam Muñoz, the floor is yours. Can you hear me? Yes. Please go ahead. Thank you very much, Dr. Alcoberro. Thank you very much for opening the conference. On behalf of the organization, we are extremely happy to be here. We would like to take this opportunity to thank the UB for hosting us. I believe the fact that we are meeting in this university is a way of embracing inter-university cooperation. The organization of this conference has been made possible thanks to the support of the Observatory of Memories of the Solidarity Foundation of the UB and the National University of Remote Learning, but also within the framework of a European project, a wide European project called Rememchild, which is made of a vast network of partners that include universities, academia, museums, memory museums, amongst other relevant players. And thanks to this partnership, we have been able to deploy a vast number of actions, and this conference is the closing activity after 2 years of hard work. As I have pointed out, I believe that as a scientific secretary of the conference, my role would be to speak about the project and its background, what topics have been laid on the table, and what is the scope, what is the aim of the conference. And for that, I shall go back. I'm not going to take long, don't worry, but I have to go back to 4 years ago when the steering committee that has been part of this Rememchild conference was set up in the context of a previous project called Migrate. And in these 2 years of work, of joint work, in the context of this first European project, the focus was on discussing the complexity of humanitarian aid during the First and the Second World War. So we carried out a research on the policies to protect civilians, the experience of this last migrate project, and this collaboration-based venture opened the scope to childhood. Children have always been subject to humanitarian and protection aid policies. Of course, they were present in all actions, but there was very little research on child beyond actions. They were represented as passive subjects. This is why the project Rememchild has aimed at highlighting the important roles that children played during the war. We've put the focus on their agencies, experiences, their participation both as fighters and resistance, and we also tackled other contexts or other concepts that go beyond the typical frameworks, the more Eurocentric framework of the conflict, and we've wished to open the scope to colonial perspectives of the world, because global wars, world wars, were global as a result of the potential, or rather the colonial dimension of the opponents. The world war affected the world at large, and parts of the world are crossed by a structural form of violence, and at the end of the war, former colonies led a decolonization process. So not only have we included the concept of childhood, gender roles, but also topics such as racialization, amongst others. Without further ado, I believe that projects like these are extremely timely, thanks to the support of the European Commission for its funding, thanks to the support of the UNED Research Unit and the rest of the partners. They're all needed because the topics that we are going to be focusing on in the context of this project are not finite ideas. Even if we move forward in the deployment of policies to protect civilians and children, unfortunately, day after day in different armed conflicts, atrocious violations of children's human rights are a fact in Sudan, in Lebanon, in Palestine, in Gaza, in the West Bank. So any project that deals with the past has to take into account the present and raise awareness on the importance of protection policies so that such violations of human rights are taken into account, prosecuted, and thus rejected on the grounds of knowledge and awareness raising. Despite, or beyond rather, this Congress, on which we're going to be dealing with all the topics listed before, the Rememchild project has included other activities such as a book which will be presented in the closing ceremony to the conference, other actions in which we have engaged with schools such as the Wall Against Forgetfulness, a documentary, a slideshow. All this has taken part in the context of the project, and all the outcomes are going to be freely available in our website, and the book is also free. You can download it for free. Without digging in any more into the project, let me tell you a little bit more about the agenda for the next 2 days. I am sure you are acquainted with it, but I would like to refer to it because there have been some last-minute changes. After the opening ceremony, we will start with a panel on women and social change in the 20th century with the moderation of Dr. Rocío Negrete. Let me inform you about a change in the speakers. María Dolores Ramo hasn't been able to attend the conference, but Sergio Blanco will replace her. Thank you very much, Mr. Blanco, for quickly accepting our invite, and let me apologize on behalf of María Dolores because she's had an urgent matter. Fanny Gallot and Monica Moreno Seco will also be two of the members of the panel, the first panel after the break. which is foreseen after this panel. We'll kick off the second panel on war experiences and childhood, facilitated by Matilde Iroa, with a screening of the documentary recorded in the context of this project by Juan Carlos University. We'll have Mr. Carballés and Mr. Farré. To close today's session, there will be a conference by Joanna Gorb. There's been a tiny change also. Unfortunately, Joanna Gorb, again, for urgent matters, had to cancel her trip to Barcelona, but she'll be available to be with us online, so we'll enjoy her presentation. I would like to take this opportunity to thank her for the effort she's made to make sure she can be online today. And this will take place at 6, half an hour before expected. Tomorrow we'll have a panel where we'll be exploring and discussing colonialism with a gender and childhood approach with Teresa García Segura, Maika de Castro, Carla Andrés Bauza, and Philo Thaudenberg. And this will be followed by a closing conference and a closing event where we'll be presenting the book. Without further ado, I would like to thank all the speakers who will be speaking in the panels, the partners, and I would like to thank the audience. And once again, of course, the University of Barcelona, the team of the European Observatory, Jordi, Uriol, Fernanda, and Angels. Thank you very much. To the technical team, the interpreters, Manu, Silvia, and the rest of the team, and of course the Vice-Rectorate of Research of UNED, and last but not least, the Scientific Secretariat, Ricard Conesa, Rocío Negrete, and Luis Aberrache. Thank you very much, Dr. Celeste Muñoz. I would like to hand it over to Mr. Jordi Guixé Corominas, the director of the Observatory of European Memories and Solidaritat UB Foundation. Good morning, one and all, and thank you very much, Vice-Rector. Dr. Muñoz, good morning, and thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me. I'll be brief because the important point here is to start discussing all the topics raised by Celeste. I would only like to underline that on behalf of the Observatory, the European Observatory, we're extremely pleased to host this conference. I believe we need to acknowledge and congratulate and embrace the fact that ideas that we have been discussing for quite a long time now are a reality, a grounded reality, also in the context of the support granted by the UNED and the European Commission. So this first project, where we had already included many of the partners, and, well, thankfully all these projects have had continuity. You know that research projects are limited in time, and we are very clear about our aim. We'll recall it tomorrow. We want to grant the continuity of this project, and we want to congratulate the researchers and all the team that has brought the project forward. Thanks for your engagement, and, well, it's been a success. I would like to thank all the speakers who will be joining us in the next 2 days, and of course all of you, the audience. As Celeste mentioned, we would like to thank Ricard, Rocío, the Solidarity Foundation team, and the Vice-Rector. Thanks for hosting us in this house where we are used to being welcomed to discuss topics around conflict, memory issues, memory problems, which, as you know, call our attention daily. Contemporary societies, well, the CEDOP president said recently that never before so many conflicts had affected the world since the Second World War. He was referring to political and military conflict. It really apprehends us. We need to put pressure, we need to lobby public representatives, decision makers at all levels, at the local, at the regional, at the national, at the European level. We need to lobby to ensure the well, this project is framed in a larger project, which is going down the right line, which is a CERV project supported by the European Commission on citizenship, equality, rights, and values. Of course, this includes the right to childhood, the right to memory, memory programs, gender problems, racial discrimination problems, etc. Welcome. I would like to welcome the we have of course continuity problems. We need to ensure that we can face our past, to build strategies to ensure non-repetition. I feel entitled to recall that one of the partners will be attending this afternoon, UNED-EUROM. But let me remind you all that the partners of this project at the European level are the Carlos III University, the UNED, the Maison des Enfants, a national memorial in France, a group of youth who were detained and exterminated in Auschwitz and in Dalin's prison, the Peace Guernica Museum, the Fossolini camp in Italy, and the European Memory Observatory. This is all from my side. I wish you a very fruitful conference. And let me also remind you that, as we discussed before with Mr. Alcoberro and with Silvia Palla, whom, by the way, I would like to thank the interpreters, we know each other for quite a long time, and they are good professionals. We hope to be up to the standard. And this short autumn that we are experiencing, right, there is like a bottleneck, so many conferences and actions going on. So thanks for being here. Allow me to invite you also to follow our newsletter and our website, because a lot will be going on the next few weeks. Thank you very much, Mr. Guixé. Again, there is a bottleneck, an activities bottleneck here in Barcelona. That means we are alive, very much alive. And it is also important to recall the importance of putting the focus on the past, but also on the present. I would like to give the floor to Mr. Arroyo, Deputy Rector for Research and Knowledge Transfer of UNED. Thank you very much, Agustí. On behalf of the Rector of UNED and our university community, I would like to warmly welcome you to this conference. We feel like we are hosts. It is clear it had to be done here in Barcelona. Look at these beautiful facilities. Here we have a Vice-Rector for Memory at the UB, so of course it is a must to be here. But we feel also part of the organization, so welcome. We would like to welcome you to the conference. I believe UNED is widely known for our specificity as a university education, or rather a academic institution. Our scope, our aim is to ensure universal and egalitarian education. We have more than 200,000 students. We have the largest campus in Europe because we have facilities in Spain, in Europe, in the Americas, and in Africa. I like saying that even if we are a large university, we are not a mass university or a massified university, and we also offer tailor-made attention to our students. Just to give you a hint, every time we have an exams call, we prepare up to 25,000 tailor-made exams for students with handicap. Sometimes even lecturers and professors attend our students' house to support the exam process. All in all, to say that even if we are well known for this specificity, we also are, let's say, intense researchers. And I believe that the group, the organizers of this conference and the coordinators of this European project, are living proof of what I just said. Not only Rememchild, but the previous Migrate European project have been up and running for more than 4 years, working in depth on the history of women and childhood in war conflicts, in bellic conflicts. I would like to invite you to please visit the exhibition, which is being hosted in this university. It was launched by UNED. It's curated by 3 researchers from UNED, Celeste, Childhood in a World in War. So during coffee break, during the lunch break, we invite you to visit this exhibition. So from my side, my field of research is artificial intelligence, and I really, really like attending conferences like this because this is my niche, right? Even if this is not part of my niche, sorry, I feel this is particularly interesting. Particularly interesting. I would like to say that I wish this kind of projects allow us to better understand our past and our present, and also hopefully this will help us understand and develop our empathy, our emotional empathy, to somehow feel more identified with conflicts like the one taking place in Gaza. Yesterday I read that 40 children a day are dying in Gaza. This might sound like a remote conflict, but it is not. It is down the road. Even if I'm here on an institutional note, allow me to put my personal hat on for a few minutes, and allow me to say that quite recently I attended a memory project called the Absent Body Ways of Saying Goodbye and Ways of Looking at Things. In the context of this project, UNED researchers study the memory of civil war prisoners through the memories of their relatives. While visiting the exhibition and while discussing with the members of the project, what really caught my attention was the role of women. At the end of the day, it's always women who give us, researchers, the necessary tips to move research forward. And basically, the steering committee, what they answered to me is that memory is feminine. Memory belongs to women. Families' memory is at the hands of women, those who preserve souvenirs and memories. And here comes my personal remark. I realized I'm a man in the negative sense. My memories of my relatives, of my predecessors, is almost inexistent. I remembered how my dad, my brother are the same. Only my mom, my sisters, and my aunts have memories. I'm trying to deconstruct myself in this field, and I'm going to leave it here because I don't want to bore you with my personal life. Thank you very much for your remarks, Vice-Rector. Thank you very much. To close this opening panel, let me say that this conference, well, I hope it's going to be extremely fruitful and interesting. The program is very rich. We will listen speakers with different approaches who will communicate in the most interesting possible way. And the title expresses very interesting concepts, 4 of them. All of them are very powerful: childhood, women, memory, and war. These 4 concepts are the pillar, the backbone of the conference. I am sure we'll learn a great deal and we'll take notes and exchange interesting experiences and opinions. I declare the conference open, and if I'm not mistaken, there's a short break. Is there? We're gonna go to the first floor, and I believe there is a coffee break served in the first floor. So I declare the conference open. Thank you.